other surrounding tribes rejected this theory, and from the Western academia, they tend to be very paternalistic and dismissive of oral traditions. But David Reichl at Harvard last year did a deep dive on the genetic analysis of both contemporary and medieval Swahili and found that indeed the oral tradition was correct, and some 70+% of white haplogroups, both in medieval Africa as well as in present-day Africa and the Swahili, come from, are haplogroup J, and they come from Iran and Oman. There's also an Indian haplogroup in there, O as well. So the oral traditions were correct, but yeah, people have a hard time because grandma and grandpa, we love grandma and grandpa, and they've passed down stories, and sometimes those stories are incorrect, but pride gets in the way, and it's attached to emotions, and so a lot of people have a hard time differentiating emotions from fact, and they get hung up on pride, and they can't let go of the fact that the evidence is something different than what they were told. Doesn't mean grandma and grandpa were liars. They were just misinformed, mistaken, or had ulterior motives. That was very well said, Albert. Thank you. Should we start referring to people rather than this history, perhaps like more umbrella term, like Mongoloid, or just call people by race, color, or more generalized term, so we can not to recognize all this petty conflict. A lot of the European 19th century racial classifications, and in fact, I think the United States even still uses them in agreement in law, isn't necessarily accurate. That's the problem. Like, obviously, Mongoloid has a derogatory affiliation, even though it is it was a long time recognized racial categorization of people of East Asian descent, and maybe even a bit Central Asian descent. But, for example, Caucasian, right? The term Caucasian is used. But when you look at a lot, especially with the paternal lineage and migration, the vast majority of European males are haplogroup R, and haplogroup R does not come from the Caucasus; it comes from Central Asia. Actually, Caucasian Y haplogroups would be something like I, which is a minority, distinct minority of European males, and haplogroups J, which are the vast majority of Arabs, for example, or plurality of Jewish men. So, but when someone would likely not say that Arabs are Caucasian. Right? Just technically they are, and European males technically aren't. But it's a more useful religious group between like you could call it Germanic people, you could call it Slavic people, Mongoloid, African. These high-level generalizations I think might be useful. Well, the prisons do it nicely in California, from basically the whites. The browns, so kind of white, black, yellow, brown. You can pick which one you want to go in, but then what he would say that he was talking about, their carnal, the carnal behavior, and having all these babies of wedlock, and I was like, let's look at the numbers.
I've ever seen you do. I'm not gonna lie. What you just did. You took something. You took something as complex as people having babies out of wedlock and just decided in your mind that religion was the barometer for that. And you literally just pulled up an anti-vax. You pulled a vitamins cure COVID because there's an association between the two things. That's what you just did. Just like literally just that.
Nope. So what I did was no. Yeah, you gotta misunderstand me. I don't know why. What I did was this. A person made a claim. Their claim was a lack of religious belief leads to people having children to single parents and carnal activities and blah, 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 blah. That was their claim. So I was like, okay, let's see if their claim is supported by the data. I mean, you look at the data, it looks like the people that are situated in places that are more religious.
I see. Okay. No. So that first part here, the claim was made initially. You responded to the claim that was made, not yours. Yeah.
Sound like a glitch.
Yeah. Bitch, you got a glitch in that itch in your glitch. Diamond, go back to Somalia. You're not Jewish and you ain't Muslim. You got a great ass.
Okay, for the millionth time, I'm Jewish. For the millionth time, I'm not Somali. For the millionth time, you need to grow up down.
Bye.
I used to be a Christian for 30 years. As long as you've been alive, whippersnapper. As long as you've been alive, right? So you can tend to actually is the opposite. It's saying there's this predisposition that I've seen, and people can, there are other Christians that are completely different. You know what I'm saying?
That's fine. It's an anecdote. It's what you're not perfect. Nobody is. You are quite tribal about your atheistic belief system. That's fine. You're quite tribal about it. And you tend to you'll mix it up a little bit. In these rooms, I heard your ass in the other room when the door closed and it's all atheist in there. Like you pull that shit on them. I heard your ass. I don't give a fuck what you say. I heard you say.
Everything I say is that way, right? Everything is that way. But the thing I will take today, but let me go to the other thing real quick, is this is something I will stand on actually. There are a lot of Christians, especially about these conversations, that have an idea that their morality represents the higher ground of morality. It's more moral. It's based on something. It's objective. It has like the staff of the man upstairs